What is up, YouTube family? In this video, we're going to be talking about how to prepare for an economic collapse, right? A market collapse, because everybody who's been around for a while knows that what goes up must come down. Just ask Bitcoin. But really though, while I drown in my tears counting all of my Bitcoin losses, I want to prepare you guys with the top 5 things you need to know if the market were to crash and how to best prepare yourself. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into this, and we're going to start with number 5 and then work our way all the way down to the number 1 most important thing that you need to do to be prepared if the market is going to collapse, because anybody who's been around for a while knows that we've had 9 straight consecutive years of a positive market. And so eventually, right, I'm not saying it's going to happen right now, but eventually in the near future, we are going to have a market downturn, and the smart people are going to be prepared and the dumb people are just going to invest everything into the market thinking it's going to go up forever, but not actually be cognizant of history and understanding that eventually, as a market goes up for enough consecutive years, it has to drop back down and level out a bit. Number 5 starts with being aware of trends, right? If you do follow the market, if you do follow the stock market, you know that for the last 9 consecutive years, we've had a positive trending market. What this means is, in the most basic sense, that eventually we are going to have a market crash. And you know, if you just use common sense, the more years in a row that you have a net positive return from the stock market, that means that you're getting closer and closer and closer for that correction, right? It's just how the stock market works. It's inevitable. If you look through history for long periods of a net positive return on the stock market, eventually there was a downturn, right? There's bull markets and there's bear markets, and you need to be aware that there's both, and you need to be prepared for if we have such a long, bull market, such a long bull rush where we're getting more and more and more net gains and net positive returns on the stock market. That means that you're just getting closer and closer and closer to the inevitable correction. And what that means is you want to be prepared for when that happens, and how you're going to be prepared is listening to the next 4 tips. Tip number 4 is understanding your risk tolerance, right? It's you have a drastically different risk tolerance if you're a 45-year-old with, a family of 4 and everyone's depending on you as the sole source of income versus, a 29-year-old handsome young stud with no responsibilities, no pets even, no family to support, and, has disposable cash to actually start investing. Those people have drastically different risk portfolios and risk tolerances, which means that one person probably has to be a lot more conservative and diversified when it comes to investing, right? It means that they're probably going to have a little bit less returns than somebody who's able to take much larger risks, like YOLOing all in on AMD call options, for example. And that's a shout out actually to my Wall Street Bets fans on Reddit, which is, going to be an inside joke, and not everyone's going to get that, but shout me out in the comments if you do browse Reddit and you do look at the subreddit Wall Street Bets. But my point is, guys, if you're a 29-year-old with a bunch of extra money, or you're a 45-year-old who has a family to support, not a lot of disposable income or much savings, you have to invest in different ways. So be cognizant of your risk tolerance and then make decisions about what you're going to invest in based on that, right? You don't want to invest in penny stocks, for example, if you have, 4 mouths to feed versus, maybe it's okay to bet $1,000 on a penny stock if you think that it is going to go up, 100 times or something like that, or you just enjoy gambling or things like that. But just the point is, guys, be cognizant of what your risk tolerance is and then make decisions based off of that regarding your investments. Tip number 3 is you can keep your money in cash. And you hear people all the time say that, never keep your money in cash. You always want to be invested in the market. You always want to be invested in the market. And for the most part, that is true, right? But you don't want to be invested in the market if it's going to go crashing down, right? And there's nothing wrong with holding your money in cash if you think that impending crash is coming soon, right? And with 9 consecutive years of, net positive returns from the stock market, it is inevitable that the market is going to come and correct itself, sooner rather than later. And holding your money in cash is not the worst thing in the world. Yes, you're not necessarily going to make, the 8 to 10% return that, is kind of expected from, a net positive year on the stock market, but you can make a 2% return. A lot of people don't know this, but you can use banks like Ally, for example, that give you a 2% return in their savings account. These banks don't have physical locations, and so they're able to give you a much higher higher yield and interest return on your savings accounts than traditional large banks like Chase are, for example, because they have so many more expenses. So if you leave your money in an Ally savings account, you can earn 2%, which isn't that different from, what you expect from a net positive return year on the market at 8%, just investing into an index fund, for example. And another benefit of keeping your money in cash if you think the market is going to crash in the near future is that when the market crashes, this is when everything goes on sale, right? It's so important to remember. This is one of the most important things in the entire video. When the market crashes, everything goes on sale. That means houses go on sale, right? You can get houses in premium locations for, pennies on the dollar relative to what they cost when the economy is booming, because people get caught up, right? People leverage themselves. People have multiple mortgage payments and they get forced by their banks, for example, to sell for significant losses. And that's when you can come in and you can buy that same property at a significant discount. The same thing holds true for cars. The same thing holds true for houses, apartment buildings, for businesses, for all types of things. When the market crashes, right? When the economy crashes, people get over leveraged and they're forced by their financiers, they're forced by their banks, or they just need the cash themselves, and they sell things at a significantly discounted price. And that's when, if you have cash and you can come in, that's when people really get rich, right? The people who understand that during collapses and during economic recessions, things go on sale and that the market always corrects itself, right? The market always corrects itself and the market always will eventually go back up. But you need to remember and have the ironclad brain to actually know that the market is eventually going to correct itself. Things will be okay no matter what the news is constantly saying, right? The market will turn around, it will go back up, and you need to buy as many, intelligent investments, make as many intelligent investments into houses, into cars, into things that you can sell for a significant gain once the market does correct itself. So tip number 3 is keep your money in cash if you think that the market is going to come crashing down in the near future. All right, guys, tip number 2 is specialize. And what I mean by this is become an expert, right? If you're an amateur or if you're a general person, right, you're not really good at any particular thing, you're just kind of an average employee, those are the first people that businesses cut, right? If they don't need you, if you're not an expert, they are going to cut you when the market crashes, when the economy comes crashing down. So what you want to do is you want to specialize. So instead of getting, average at Google ads and YouTube ads and Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Snapchat ads, what you'd rather do is become a specialist, right? Become an expert in the number one most valuable skill, in that case, which would be Facebook ads, for example. And a metaphor that I like to use to kind of illustrate this is a brain surgeon versus just a general practitioner. A brain surgeon gets paid probably 25 times more than just a general practitioner, and they go to school for similar amounts of time. Obviously the brain surgeon goes for more, but they literally get paid 25 times more, often to work fewer hours, right, and kind of make their own schedule, and they're regarded higher in the the medical community. So you always want to become an expert, right? Focus on one thing, go deep rather than going shallow, right? Instead of being okay at a lot of things, go deep on one thing and become an expert. And then when the market does inevitably come crashing down and the economy comes crashing down, you will be okay, right? You won't be the ones who are getting laid off if you are an expert. And if you're thinking to yourself, but Kevin, I'm not an expert right now, remember that experts and people who are not experts both have 24 hours in the day. So you can start and make a commitment to yourself right now to become an expert. You just have to think to yourself, okay, what is going to be the most valuable skill if the market does come crashing down, and then learn that, right? And then what you want to do is become an expert. And when you're an expert, you don't get laid off, because experts are always needed in companies, especially experts at things that make those companies money. All right, guys, and tip number 1, we're going to get to in a second, but really quickly, I want to give a shout out to our daily comment winner. What we do is we choose our favorite comment every single day, and we give you a shout out right here and feature you on this video. So if you want to be our next comment winner and get featured in tomorrow's video, all you have to do is leave me a comment down below letting me know how you are going to prepare for the market crash. What are the things that you do, right? Do you go out and buy a bunch of water and store it in your basement, or do you buy specific stocks, or what are your investment strategies? How do you prepare yourself? So tip number 1, guys, is diversify your income streams, right? Rich people understand that when everything's going great and everything's amazing and you're making all this money and the economy is booming, right? That is when you want to diversify and create additional streams of income, not when everything is coming crashing down, right? When the economy comes crashing down and you get fired from your job and you have bills to pay and things like that, that's the worst time to actually start thinking about earning additional streams of income, because you're under pressure, you're stressed out, right? You have worries, you have bills, people are constantly asking you for stuff because they're also struggling. And so what you want to do, and what rich people understand, is when things are going great, that's when you prepare for the worst, right? That's when you actually go out and start finding additional streams of income. That's when you start to tell yourself, okay, maybe I should start an Amazon business on the side so I can start earning some income. Maybe I should start an SMMA, right? Maybe I should start a YouTube channel. Maybe I should create a digital course, right? That is when you want to be cognizant of the fact that things could go wrong, right? When things are amazing, rich people prepare for the worst. When things are amazing, poor people don't prepare for the worst. And then when things come crashing down, rich people are perfectly okay, right? Because they've already prepared for that and they've thought ahead, and poor people didn't prepare for anything, right? And they become desperate. And that's when things really spiral out of control. And that's not a place that you want to be. So tip number one, guys, is prepare for the worst. And the way that you do that is by diversifying and adding new streams of income while things are going great and while the economy is booming like it is right now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, tap the little like button, hit the little red subscribe button right here, turn on the notification bell so that you will be up to date whenever we drop a brand new video just like this one on investing or making money online or living a happier, healthier, more fulfilled life. And so until next time, guys, happy hustling and happy investing.